Today I want to look at making some new more voxel out for my cave bar scene that we have worked in the past days and I've worked in the past week on it. Today I would like to work on like the tables. And maybe if you find the time, I probably would also like to work on like these wine, what are they called, wine barrels. So let's start with the table. I will go over into the, this would be the art scene. Let's just look at what kind of dimensions we want the table to have. So these benches that I've made, where we just have a little bit longer one here, the other ones are symmetrical. And here, these are like 1 meter wide. And so if I want to put a table in here, I either might want to have two variances, like one that's a little bit long and one that's maybe like a little bit more squarish. I could make it 1 meter by 1 meter and just have it stand out a little bit, or make it a little bit smaller. That is the question. Do I want it like 80 by 80 and it just fit it nicely in here? I actually just have it. I think if I make it 1 meter by 1 meter, it stand out a little bit too much. I could just make it 80 by a little bit. And I should just make it long. So just make it like 80 in the width and like maybe like a meter in that way. And then I just put it like the one a little bit here and the one a little bit here or something like that. Or maybe I need a special one back there. And I would just run with that. The height, let me just look at how high these, oh, this is not the right scene. There we have the benches. The bench, the straight bench is 50 high. And I'm not sure if we want to actually go higher than that. Our benches are probably too short, but yeah, I mean, I will leave it at that now. So let's make our new voxel mesh. We said, what do I want to do? We will make it long in the z-axis and like the width in x. So we make it 40 in the z-axis and we will make it 50 in y. We also have to scale it down. And we said we will make it like a meter also in the z-axis. I haven't done the wall here yet. Yesterday I worked more on adding icons for like my object. So my voxel mesh now has this object and the data has its own object, and the stems and also the voxel texture that I have and the edit button also now has its custom icon and not, because before I'd used the selection mode icon, which wasn't really telling anyone what this is. So I just added some custom icons here yesterday. So let's then switch into the voxel tool settings and let's just add the plate. We will make this probably 3 thick. And then we will want to make, so we will make this a little bit wider here. I'm not sure if we want this all around, probably we won't. And then with the legs. So I will turn on mirroring in the X and Z. And now is the question, where do we want this to start? First is the question, where is actually the 0? Yeah, so let's work from this side on. So what kind of distance do we want this to have? Do we want this to have 3 in, like 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and start here, and just do something like this, and just fill this in. So we have 1 here. Then I can just use the face and like extrude this. This is just 2 now. And from here, we will just extrude the legs down. Is the question, we don't actually have but that means we might want to add maybe just like a border around this here. And then we are adding the actual leg, which would be, is 3 by 3 even good enough? Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I don't see this here. So now we have, oh my goodness, the lighting. 3 by 5, so we still need a little bit more here. Now we should have 5 by 5. Exactly, 5 by 5. And we'll just move this one here down. This is have I not? 5 by 4. What is... Okay, we just add another face here and then we just extrude it down to the bottom. And then we will add more of this. Like here. And we probably want something in the middle, which now is really nice. It's just like, what height do we want this to be at? Okay, this is like... Damn, the lighting is horrible. What are just the rotations that I have here? This is a lot better. So, and let's just extrude this here. And then we need to check this one here. And that would be it, I guess. No, we absolutely need another line here. There is... Okay, I can't... I need mirroring here, I think, in the x-axis, not in the z one exactly. But we want a little bit more than this. So that would be it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, then we want to save this here, but I created a new Save As button, so I don't have to rename the resource type all the time. So this is like the bar table save. Oh, it's not switching this. Oh, that's bad. All right, I have to fix this next time. Where's it? Save as table dot res save overwrite. All right, and this is then the par table, and I mean that should basically be it. Now let's just make it its own scene. Scene, a 3D scene. This is the bar table. We just swap this up to a static body. Yes, then we of course also need to first export it. I haven't done this yet. Export the bar table. Then we can, where is it? There we have it. We want to change the scaling, so we already have it in bar table. Then we just set the texture to it so that we have the vertex color texture and then texture the material. And then is the question how I want the colliders to work. I'm not sure if really like a precise collider is necessary here. We just make one here for the top. And then make another, I think, or like the bottom here. No. Just make it like this. And I think that should be good enough. And you just can't move anything under the table, which is probably good anyway. And then we have the tables here. So that means I can add tables here to the furniture scene. Not the resource, the scene, please. Thank you. And then let's see how this looks. Oh, we also want to very much move the whole things here. So it's in like the center. Which is probably not the center. Nine. This should just be 50. Yes, I think that's it. So that now we can like just rotate it here and just move it in place and just have it standing here and just fit in. I mean, it might be too high, to be honest. It might be too high. Because now it has exactly the same height as what we have there. So maybe I want to lower it, to be honest. Maybe I just want to lower these things. So what we will do is we will increase this here, maybe not that much. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this here is still 3 high, which is all right. That should do the trick. This is just a rendering error. So, okay, the button is not connected anymore. So let's just export it again. Save, overwrite. And then we have, this is still connected, right? Nothing has changed here, something has changed here. And then we just take all of the things and move them to the floor. And they should have adapted. And this looks a lot better. I would assume that it's not really, that the scale is now not really fitting actually anymore. But, well, I won't change this now anymore, to be honest. I won't like redo, make the benches higher and fix them again. We will just do with what we have. And we probably want to put this one here, so that it stands out just a little bit like this. Something like that. So that we just have these things, and then we of course can take our lanterns and place some of the lanterns on these tables. Then we can place and we just have a little bit of the decoration there, not too. And that would be the table. So now let's think about what we want to do with the barrels. We will really have to look at the scale for them. So let's just bring in a new voxel mesh. And I have no idea how big we want them to be. I will just position this already here on the table. I will try to line it up with that corner, which it is, because now we can actually just create and check. I'm not sure how big this one here is. So let's scale it down. And let's see if I make this 30. It's not yet the one, it's 31 is this wide. We want 2 of them to fit in here. That means that if I want one space between them and just completely touch the one, it needs to be 15, which means it should just be 14 in the width. And for the height is the question if we actually want them to be placed under, if I just have them standing here before, which I probably want to do here. So 16 in height is probably all right. We could maybe make it a little bit higher. So we have just 14 by 14 as kind of the radius, which is probably will have to be smaller, because for a cylinder, probably 14 as a radius is not really that well. So 16 could actually work quite well. We might want to have it a little bit deeper. Just try it with like 25. And like this, because then we could have a second one here. We could of course also make them a little bit bigger and see if we just only place one to the left and right, because my bar is actually a little bit smaller in the dimensions than this one, because this would be actually more like 3 meters. So maybe I just want to make one big one and I just put it like a little bit here and just make it like 30 in the width. But now we have the issues that we would have to make it a lot bigger, and that would be just too big. So what about 2020 and just move it then something like this here in the front? I mean, something like that could work and probably have a decent scale to it. I could make it a little bit higher. I'm not sure. Let's try to make it just 28 in like the depth here, so that we have just a little bit more to work with. And just so we also have a little bit on the height, I will make it 24. Just so we have a little bit of room to work with. Then we'll just adjust the chunking here, which should be fine. And then we can work on it. Then I will just move it here a little bit up front so we don't work inside of the inside of the shelf. So let's call this is like a wine barrel or something like this. I don't know. And we also just save this in bar as the wine barrel save. So we will need a stamp under it that pretty much just has the same dimensions. I will just copy the whole section. I will just make a new voxel data with like the same, also because I have to paste it here, with like the same dimensions. Because I will also just apply this here as the target. We can align it, which it already is aligned, because we want to create a shape here. And the axis will be the Z axis. The radius will be, I don't know exactly what. Let's just try out 18 by 18, and this will be 20, 25, because we can, okay, it's the radius. I'm stupid. I'm very stupid. Yeah, first I have to clear it, then fill it again. So we have the lights here. Don't want the lights to shine on me. Decorations, turn them off, please. Thank you. So, I mean, this already pushed it into the middle, which is not bad. Can I make this bigger? But that already pretty much is actually quite of a decent size. I will make it a little bit longer. So we just fill out the whole area here. And I will take a color. Our color here, I will already put that in. So we already have that set. I think that should be good to go. Now I can, with our mesh, I will just in the controls, I think, insert it. Which means now it's not just in our stamp that we used to create the shape. Now we have it in our actual mesh, and I will just delete the stamp, and then we have our shape in here. So now we'll may have to make it a little bit shorter, because now we have like the whole width of like 28 here. So I will clear, first I have to go into tool mode. I will clear at least 3 of that, maybe even 4, before I would be now with a width of 24. Which should be all right, actually should be really good. If you look at the design, we want a ring that is a little bit inside. I will have to make this pretty much by hand. We will use this darker color here. We'll go one inside and create the whole ring here. This was 2, this was 2, so we already have the ring here. I'm not sure if I should actually just like go like this. Probably I should. Just do something like this. This dark color is actually like quite a bit too dark. Let's use this one here. Yeah, we also need to do this at the back. So we have to at least remove one of the things here. Then we can just make this here also on the back side. So we just have this a little bit more symmetric. And then we have here in front the, I'm not sure how big I want to make this. We are 20 wide, so I don't really have a center that's not just one piece, which is an issue here, to be honest, which is kind of an issue. I'm like a 10 here, so I just want to actually do this and then bring it out. Would like bring it probably more out. Put like one here and ooh,